Earlier today, I was folding laundry. How exciting, me! But one of the things I noticed as I was just doing this mundane task, that there was a certain amount of quiet enjoyment. Well, enjoy might be overstating it, but kind of a quiet satisfaction doing this mundane task, but kind of bringing order out of chaos, folding things, smoothing them out, hanging them up. And I had a flashback. And the flashback was to one of my favorite people I have ever met in my life. She has died now, but she was a dear friend for many years. And she taught me the art of the tiny, perfect moment. In the last years of her life, where she lived was on the edge of a cliff overlooking the ocean. If all you knew about her was her income, you would say that she lived in poverty. And from a numbers point of view, that would have been true. And she had more joy per hour than anyone I have ever met. Not an hour went by when she didn't notice something that brought her delight. And she would comment or she would laugh. And she had one of those raucous laughs. I had another friend that called it her gin and cigarettes laugh, but you know the kind of laugh I mean. It just fills up a room and it's infectious. Where she lived, it was on the edge of the coast. When you walked in the back door of her cabin, which was in a little enclave with 5 or 6 other cabins, you'd walk in the back door and you could see all the way to the front of the cabin where there were wall-to-wall, floor-to-ceiling windows. And you'd walk across the cabin, step out onto the deck. And when you looked down, you were looking at the Pacific Ocean. She really was a cliff dweller on the edge of the ocean. And in the ocean, not far from the shore, there was a few islands that kind of dotted in the water. And on those islands, eagles nested. And one of the customs in that little enclave of 5 or 6 cabins, you might be having a conversation or doing something, and if somebody saw an eagle, they would say, "Eagle, eagle, eagle," and everything would stop. Conversations would stop, activities would stop, and we would all just watch the eagle do whatever the eagle was doing. If it was flapping its wings or doing that glide thing that eagles do where they flick one feather and it carries them, they were riding the wind. It was so cool to see. But there would be the whole enclave. I think from her, I don't know if that was their custom before she lived there, but they learned about and practiced the art of the tiny, perfect moment. At this time in our lives, lots is going on that we wish was not going on. We're tired of it, etc., etc. And if ever there was a time to start noticing the tiny, perfect moments, like there I was folding laundry and noticing that there was kind of a quiet satisfaction, a moment of a tiny, perfect moment of just satisfaction of doing a mundane, ordinary task. If we start looking for tiny, perfect moments, we will see them. I'm remembering in the last days of my friend's life, when she was in hospital, she was in a palliative care unit, and everyone on that floor, they wanted to visit her room because people would visit her, and at that stage of her care, they weren't limiting visitors to visiting hours. And there was always laughter coming from that room. You wouldn't expect a lot of laughter on a palliative care unit, but there was. She was having a good time. She had things to laugh about, and that made other people laugh. And in fact, when we went to visit her, we would save up our little funny moments because we would love to hear her laugh. At this time in the life of the planet when we're kind of sick of what's going on around us, we're tired of it, I encourage all of us in that time, without denying any of the stuff, but that we look for tiny perfect moments. When we look for tiny perfect moments, we find them. So, two things. One is, I encourage you, look for tiny perfect moments, and not just during a pandemic. Just make it a practice. If you don't already, be a person who watches for tiny perfect moments. And secondly, this is a request, an ask. I would be delighted if, I will be thrilled if, in addition to you being more attentive than you already are, perhaps, to watch for the tiny perfect moments around you, within you, and write some of them down in the comments below. I am anticipating in the next few days, among my tiny perfect moments will be coming to this Facebook page and reading the tiny perfect moments that you write about in the comments below. So, looking forward to it. Bye for now.